Hello, welcome to the 22nd lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this lecture, we will be talking about two main concepts. One is contextual flow, the other one is the contextual coverage. So contextual flow explains where we are taking context from and where we are leading it to. The contextual coverage explains which part of the article is the heaviest part. In other words, if we will be using an AI system to summarize your article, and if you would ask the question of, can you give a summarization, or can you tell us what this article or web document is mainly about, or what it actually aims? And imagine that the article doesn't, or let's say that specific summarization doesn't mention even your purpose or most of these sections. So to be able to explain both of these concepts, I actually use the italic marking for some of these subparts. You will realize that we are mostly using some certain types of attributes of the specific entity. And while doing that, we always focus on the location of the country as it appears in this area too. And if you look at here, we asked actually the continent, which is connected to this anchor text, and we will be talking about the contextual connections in the future section. But if you don't understand the idea of keeping every column in this area in a harmony, you won't be able to get the main, let's say, lesson or the essence of this system. Which means that when you put actually your first heading to here, you will need to be thinking about and sensing your actual last heading. And from last heading, you will need to sense your last and also the first anchor text. And from there, you will need to actually sense entire hierarchy and entire structure that you are creating. According to the few instructions that you put in this area, you will need to add a few more things here or change the order of these things and change the hierarchy one more time. And from there, you will need to change actual order of your anchor text. For instance, why this is the first anchor text and why this is the last one. And why we actually have this type of distances between them. To be able to understand that, you will need to understand the concepts of contextual flow and the contextual coverage. So if we just represent these things with a simple visualization, it will go like that. Imagine this is our web page, and this is your macro context area, and also general summary. And here, let's say we have this type of a single heading. Then imagine here we actually have 49 more headings. If I will be using a certain type of AI summarizer for your article, the AI will tell me that actually article is mainly about this specific attribute, but your queries that you are targeting for the query network, they're about many other main things. So there should be a justification for actually giving most of the weight to this area, or contextual coverage to this area. And imagine that you are not linking somewhere from here. Imagine all of your links in these parts, which means that they won't be passing any relevance or prominence signal because this article is not about that. This is also important for one more future SEO concept. If you have listened to my actual side speech, you should and you have to remember this section. Definitely, I direct the thought there that the future of SEO is about taking knowledge bases, improving knowledge bases, creating knowledge bases, and verbalizing them. Once you verbalize them, you will need to come to this course or systems like that, and you will need to understand how to organize information. And to be able to do that, you will need to upgrade your thinking skills and also, let's say, your mindset. It's not about tools anymore. After a point or until a point, tools can help you. But eventually, the SEO who understands these principles always will be actually dominating the industry. So even if we give you the strongest AI system, still you will need to be distributing that output in a proper way. Imagine that. Even don't imagine it will be happening like probably while you are watching this. Let's say right now, at the moment, all the websites started to actually talk. Imagine that I don't want to go to the ChatGPT or the topic of SEO. Imagine that I want to go to your website because I trust your actually intelligence and information for that. Imagine I don't want an aggregated human or aggregated answer from the open web or all the books. I want your knowledge base. I want your web source, the web source that you actually created to answer my question. I won't be actually going to that specific web page that time, or even if I go there, there will be an input area, and I will be asking my question, as in the ChatGPT, directly to your website. And from there, this specific thing actually will start to be happening. AGI-based information retrieval, which means that if we use artificial general intelligence and artificial generative intelligence in your website, when I ask a question, that specific system will need to retrieve all the documents that are relevant to my question, and they will need to take all the answers and the most relevant parts from all these documents. So there is always an issue there. If answers are conflicting with each other, the situation will be bad because there is no answer, it means. And if the answers are good, but let's say all of them are good, then it is also an issue too because system might spend more time or they might not know which answer should be given. But if you actually arrange your contextual flow, and also, if you're able to arrange your contextual coverage properly, and if you're able to point the contextual connections with a proper order, distance, and also the prominence, it means that you will always be telling the system that what that page is about, where context is coming from, and how it is transferred to the next section, and how these links are signaling the most important and efficient and quality part for that question. Which means that you will always be giving actually the best comprehensive answer from the most relevant part of the document, which means that actually it will be very much easier for that user to get the answer from there. So in the future, near future, and if you watch these things in the future, it's like past 4 year or the current time, which means in the future or just now, the websites will be talking or they are talking at the moment. Even I am coding that right now. You will get the knowledge bases, verbalize the knowledge bases, improve the knowledge bases, create semantic content networks, topical maps, then arrange your contextual weights, coverages, and the flow, and just distribute them. So please listen to that Saigon speech a few more times until you get this essence, because if you don't want to be wiped out from the industry, you will need to get this. And if you understand the system in this area in a really good way, it's something that AI can't do, to be honest, which means that you will always be protecting your value in the future. Even if I create 1 million documents, and you create 1 million documents, he create 1 million documents. Imagine that we all also use the same knowledge base for creating these documents. The winner will be coming from these micro optimizations, because one of us will be able to optimize and organize all the information in a better way. And that person will be able to actually rank inside the ChatGPT, inside Microsoft, I say new Bing search or Google Bard, and also the regular results. And the users will be coming to your website for asking these questions. So if you check this area one more time, you will realize that, as we explained before, there is a proper contextual flow. Every section has been actually arranged according to the area that they will need to be covering. One more final thing is, our general summary section has actually 2 subsections. One is extractive, the other one is abstractive summary. These things will be explained especially when we start to teach for article writing, which will be mainly for actual authors rather than SEOs. But imagine that when you actually get all of the most important sentences from these subsections when you write the article, and imagine that you put them side by side, it makes perfect sense. It means actually that you created a proper article, even if we choose most important sentences from different sections, and when we create an extractive summary, still actually the article is able to represent itself. If you're not able to create a proper extractive summary, or if you are not able to create a proper abstractive summary for your article, it means that there might be some certain types of broken points. The micro context will need to touch all the subsections, and there will always need to be a connection for every subsection as well. And we always justify our links with the concepts that we are using, and we always connect these attributes to each and in a proper way as well. This was a little bit long lecture because I wanted to explain these 2 concepts a little bit deeper. And in the next lecture, we will be talking about the contextual connections. Thank you.